K99 just came out with a pretty fun article where AI, artificial intelligence, roasts Fort Collins, Colorado. And then I went in there to ChatGPT and added 3 more. So today we're going to go through 7 different roasts of Fort Collins, Colorado. What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick Soukup, and this is the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel, where you come to learn everything there is to know about Fort Collins, Northern Colorado, and especially if you're considering relocating, buying, selling, or investing, give my team and I a call, text, or email, as we are licensed real estate agents in the state of Colorado and would love to be an asset on your team. But without any further delay, let's jump into some roasts about Fort Collins, Colorado, generated by artificial intelligence. Here we go. All right, number 1, Fort Collins, Colorado, the only place where you can find more craft breweries than actual residents. Seriously, the town is veritable hop farm. You've got more choices for IPAs than you do restaurants that don't have organic in the name. I half expect a sign outside of every bar saying, "We only serve beer brewed with the tears of local hipsters." Absolutely. I mean, Fort Collins has the king of all breweries as far as microbreweries, New Belgium. Odell's has the absolute best patio in Fort Collins in our perspective, and a lot of our guests that we've had on Fort Collins, fellas. And yes, my wife and I had a great discussion at a store when I was giving her some shit about buying organic and how much the marketers had to pay for that sticker. But my wife, she's phenomenal. She takes care of us, really wants the health and care of our family, so I can't give her too much crap about that. But Fort Collins is very natural. Trader Joe's, Whole Foods are very important to the local residents here, as well as the beer scene. You could find yourself on a Friday afternoon, midday during the work, grabbing a cold beer and then heading back to work. So there are microbreweries everywhere. All right, number 2, let's talk about the weather in Fort Collins. Fort Collins is like that moody friend who can't decide if it's summer or winter. One minute you're soaking up the sun on a patio, and the next you're buried under 3 feet of snow because Mother Nature has commitment issues. I guess it's the perfect metaphor for your dating life, always expecting something bright and sunny, but ending up with a storm cloud and a headache. That is kind of the MO of Colorado, that the weather can change in an instant. The 10-day forecast is actually pretty accurate. So I can look forward and I can say, all right, with relative certainty, I can plan ahead maybe some vacations or travel trips, especially if we're going up the hill. I want to avoid being on the roads during snowstorms. And then I remember golfing. So it applies to this roast 100%. I remember golfing on like a Wednesday, and it was 60 degrees and sunny, and someone came up and said, did you hear about the snowstorm that's coming? And my friend and I looked at each other like, no. He's like, no, there could be 2 to 3 feet of snow. And we kind of both looked at each other like, no way. And sure enough, like 2 or 3 days later, I actually did a video on it. It is on the YouTube channel, where we got absolutely pummeled with a snowstorm. So you could be golfing one day and under 3 feet of snow the next. Absolute truth. Okay, moving on. And then there's Colorado State University, where students spend 4 years majoring how to look busy while drinking. You know you're in Fort Collins when you see a frat boy confidently debating the merits of sustainable agriculture while still managing to spill his craft beer. It's like a scene out of a bad sitcom, and here we have the intellectual elite of America, as long as it's in a 10-mile radius of a taco truck. You know, I wasn't very hipster or with it at Colorado State University. I think the frat scene is actually very minimal at CSU. While it exists and people are very strong if they are a part of a frat scene or sorority scene, it's not a huge component, I would say, if you're coming here comparatively to like the South, where people are killing to get into fraternities or sororities or certain ones. And then on top of that, yeah, you could go to the Laurie Student Center and have the Ramskeller, where you could go have a beer while you're studying, and there is that kind of vibe. But freshman, sophomore year, you're not able to drink, and then middle of the way through junior year, you're finally turning 21. Maybe a little bit focused, but yes, you're gonna find parties all over the place. And as far as taco trucks, we do love our food trucks here, and they are all over the place. The best taco trucks are along North College Avenue. And so yeah, kind of close to CSU, but a lot of people kind of stay on campus. All right, let's see here. But hey, at least the town has a charming, picturesque vibe. If you don't mind the fact that charming is just code for we have a lot of overpriced boutiques and not much else. Fort Collins is the kind of place where the local coffee shop doubles as an art gallery. And by art, I mean a canvas splattered with paint that could have been done by a toddler. So raise your glass, Fort Collins. Here's to being the most delightful place where you can feel superior about your lifestyle choices while still knowing how to change a tire. I just changed a tire the other day. I was very proud of myself. One of my coworkers, she was stuck on the side of the road. Well, actually, I had a 7-Eleven parking lot. She called me and I said, gosh, dang it. All right, I'm downtown. I'll come help you. I was able to figure it out. And as for the coffee scene with the art gallery in there, sure, I do look at some of the price tags on these pictures and I'm like, there's no way that I'm paying anything close to that. But supporting local artists and then high-priced boutiques, there are some. I went into a shop. I'm not going to name names because it is a very popular shop in Fort Collins. And I got a pair of boots, a scarf, and a pair of boots, a scarf, and gloves. I didn't even look at the price tag. Went up to the counter. I gave them my items and they rang it up as $700. I think I had some ego in it. So I literally gave them my credit card and I was like, oh my God. And that was a Christmas present. I told my wife and I told her what it cost. Luckily, my wife is a very practical, pragmatic person. And she went and returned those and got like a ton, basically a new wardrobe for it. So there are some very expensive high-end boutiques, but probably not a ton of them. And there are just as many very affordable shops like Sierra. You can go and get an entire wardrobe for a very affordable price. All right, moving on. Here comes 3 more. Fort Collins, the city where every Subaru Outback has at least 3 coexist stickers and a roof rack, but hasn't actually left the Whole Foods parking lot in months. Who needs rugged mountain trails when you've got kombucha and on tap and a $9 avocado toast to conquer? We work with a lot of people who are moving to the area in Northern Colorado and Fort Collins. And I will say on the tops of many of their lists, not all by any means, and maybe 50% of the list, is how close in proximity is a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. We do have both of them. They are relatively close to Midtown Fort Collins. And yes, I will say that eating healthy, like my wife loves to do, does come at a cost. I'm sure it's better than eating some of these processed foods. But I also could see, man, there's obviously a health pandemic in the United States, and it just is so cheap to go through McDonald's. I don't ever go through McDonald's, but it's so cheap to go through McDonald's and get a full meal, whereas going through Whole Foods and eating healthy is just so expensive. But people who move to Fort Collins, Northern Colorado, and live in the area in Fort Collins and Northern Colorado are very focused on health and lifestyle, and so are willing to make those investments in those types of foods and opportunities. All right, 2 more. Let's not forget Old Town, a place where everyone pretends to love the charm of street musicians until they hear Wonderwall for the 4th time in an hour. The real wonder is why we keep tipping them. I'm not a big fan of this roast. There are some street performers. I would say that's one thing that I wish Fort Collins had more of. You go down to the 16th Street Mall or Pearl Street and you do have street performers. You're gonna have some street performers on Friday, Saturday evenings, maybe some Thursday afternoons, holiday time period, but overall, very few, far between. And then as far as tipping them goes, yes, I guess I don't necessarily know if we hear Wonderwall all of the time, but that's actually, I would say, I wish we had more of, is fun street performers in the Old Town, downtown area. Finally, and of course, Fort Collins is dog friendly because if you don't have a golden retriever named Aspen or Moose, do you even live here? But let's be honest, half these dogs are better dressed than their owners and are more likely to have health insurance. We've talked about it tons of times. Fort Collins is a very dog friendly community and area. And from there, one of my best friend's dog's name is Moose. Now it is a French Bulldog, I think. Pug, French Bulldog. I'm not great. A small, very cute dog that's very expensive that you have to do some surgery to its face when you're done. They have 2 of them. They absolutely love them. They're hilarious. Moose is absolutely jacked, and that is the name of their dog. And then you got Aspen, and it's funny. We've watched some of the Dude Dad's videos over time. They're pretty hilarious. But Aspen, Rocky, Chaka, all these different Colorado names, and people in Fort Collins love their dogs, spend a lot on their dogs. One of my former assistants, now partner agent in Izzy, has spent thousands of dollars on her German short hair pointer, but loves her dogs and is a very good dog owner. So there is some big truth on that. So there you have it, folks. 7 roasts of Fort Collins, Colorado, all in fun. But if you're considering moving to the area, reach out to us. We'd love to dive into some of these questions or curiosities even further. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.